Welcome to the 2014 Amplify podcast, presented to you by the Oregon Ministry Network. Amplify took place April 3rd through 5th at First Assembly in Albany. The following workshop, entitled Social Media and Your Gifts, was brought to us by Jacob Looper.
I think you guys will really like today. We got some special guests coming up that are really cool. And I have some good information for you guys that if I knew about when I was your age, I probably would have succeeded a whole lot earlier on. But this workshop is really about how to deploy your gifts in the social media and multimedia areas. You know, you guys know about Facebook, Twitter, MySpace if you still use it. I don't know, does anybody have a MySpace here?
They took it down.
They took it down?
Yeah.
Wow, that's hurtful. Right here in my heart. Actually, it's over there. But there are a lot of tools online that a lot of you guys don't even know about that you can utilize, most of them for free, to your advantage. And I'm going to be talking a lot about different areas like acting and animation and music, to say the least. That's not even all of them. But, you know, how are you guys deploying your gifts out into the real world outside of the church? That's what we're going to talk about today. And the tools to help you make successful businesses and successful decisions are out there online. And you know, it's hard to find these things on your own. That's what I ran into when I was your guys' age. You know, we barely had the internet in 1994. And so we didn't have much help, actually, out there at all. And most of the time, to be honest, it really doesn't take that much money to get started in multimedia and social media things. It's just the ambition and the heart to do it. And you know, when I was growing up, I had no idea where to go, who to turn to. All the music people in my life didn't know what advice to give me. They just said, well, go find it out on your own. So I have over the years. And go ahead and show the first slide here. This is a girl and I, well, slowly, performing. And I've done fine arts for 17 years. I did nationals for 5 years and male vocal solo, and got to do some saxophone there and a duet. And so in fine arts I did everything from singing, playing musical instruments, short sermon, human video, and poetry. I had no idea at that time that I would ever use most of those things in the future. If you're coming in, I have things you'll want to get. So I'll just set it right here on the stand, and you guys can just pick one up. No, this is a performance. I did the Phantom of the Opera last year. Did you do Phantom of the Opera?
I'm doing one next weekend for the town show.
Wow, very cool.
He's like
What part are you playing?
Music of the night for next week, and point of no return with a partner for the town show.
That's very cool.
You should come.
Where is it? Pleasant Hill.
It's like a little
Come see him play the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Pleasant Hill next week. So there was a really cool story with My Fine Arts. They covered it last year in one of the videos that they had made here. But basically, I started out as a student in the 8th grade in fine arts, and every year went to nationals. And I came out of that thinking, well, what do I do now? And I came back. Jay Anderson at that time, he was our district youth director, and I asked him, how do I get involved in fine arts? And so he said, well, the only job I have for you to do is to sharpen pencils. And so I sharpened the evaluator's pencils for 2 years. The 3rd year in, they finally started letting me make copies of awards and things like that. And the 4th year, they called me. They said, you know, you've been around a while. You better just start evaluating. And so I started evaluating, and for the last think 4 or 5 years I've been the lead evaluator here, and then been able to judge at nationals. They don't call it judging anymore, they call it evaluating, but giving feedback for students. So that's kind of my fine arts story with that. And now, actually this year, I'm just doing the video, filming the whole event, as well as have a video team here. And then I'm evaluating piano solo tonight. So they keep me involved. So when I started fine arts about 17 years ago, everything was still paperwork and written down. And then, of course, they didn't really have the internet much back then, so there was no need. People didn't think it would ever catch on. But now everything is stored in computer databases here and at nationals, and even at the national level, they do all your score sheets on Scantron, which is really interesting. All the evaluators just fill in bubbles. So, but today, this brings me to the point today, is that I want to share some really cool sites that I found over the years that have really been helpful to me. And maybe if you came to fine arts this year and don't know an area that you'd want to be a part of, maybe this will give you some insight and ideas to throw around for your own stuff that you want to do. So first, let's look at acting. This is a really exciting area. Who likes to act? Okay, we have a few, like 6. I need my water. Hang on. My allergies are really bad this week. Is anybody's allergies really bad? We have worse allergy people than we have actors in here. It's good. So the first site I want to talk to you guys about is Extras Only. Have you guys ever heard of Extras Only before? Is it up there? Oh, wow, he's really ahead of the game. So let's look at acting. You can do anything from commercials to TV shows to movies. There's 2 TV shows in Portland that are filming right now that I know of. Grimm is one of them. And then there's also The Librarians, which they just started filming, which is really cool because it's going to go for 5 years. And The Librarians is based on the Librarian movies that came out a few years ago with Noah Wyle. But they moved that whole thing to Portland, which is cool because you guys can have the opportunity to act in it if you want. Extras Only is a website you can join. It's free until you get your first job, and then they can charge you. But it's only about $100 a year with their premium plan. So that's a pretty cool thing. You get commercial offers almost every week. And they're big name commercial offers too. They're like Delta, HP. I got an NBA offer. I guess you can show the Grimm. Is that one up there? Can you show what's next? Oh, I think I'd tell you a little bit about the site first. Well, go ahead and go back. Now go next. Okay, so a little bit about this site real quick is this is just 2 job offers I got this week. They'll send you job offers. And if you tell them you're not available, they're not going to bug you again about it. But if you say you're available, they give you about a week in advance that they tell you that you could get the job for. And then they tell you several days before if you actually get the job. But you have to tell them you're available first. So what you do is you go on extrasonly.com and you sign in, you sign up. And it's a really simple process. You just sign up and you put a couple pictures on there and tell them what you're good at. And then they find the jobs for you. It's really, really cool. Go ahead and go to the next one. And then they get more specific for each job. This is actually for the finale of Grimm next week. And they offer it to you. And if you can't do it, then you just say you can't do it, and then they never bug you. But they will keep offering you jobs until you get off the site and unjoin. So go ahead and go to the next one. And then when you actually get a job with them, they send you a map of where they're filming. It's kind of like secret CIA, like you can't share this with anybody type of a thing. And they pay for your parking and all that stuff. They feed you all day. And they pay really well, too. Go ahead and go to the next one. And then this is when I did one of the episodes. I just clicked a picture of the DirecTV when I was on it. And it's kind of a cool thing. So Anyway, there's lots of opportunities there in Extra. Only I have so much other stuff to cover, so we'll move on from that. The next slide, I think, is, what is it? I think it's the movie that I did. I just did a movie with Reese Witherspoon a couple months ago, and it's coming out. You can go back to the other one. It's coming out this summer. I got to play one of her college friends in the movie, and got to act with some other really good actors. Laura Dern from Jurassic Park was in it. The little girl from Uncle Buck with John Candy was in it. So we did about 8 scenes together for that movie. And Extras only got me that job. So it's a really good site to use. They will find you work if you want. Yes, question?
Filming only in the Portland, Oregon area?
They only film in Oregon, which is cool. So you don't have to travel very far. I live in Redmond, and I travel 3 hours to most of my work. The Witherspoon movie we did was in Oregon City. Grimm's filmed in Portland. Commercials are filmed all over Salem and Portland. So it's a fairly close thing, and you have plenty of notice to figure out if you want to do a job or not for them. So now let's look at switching subjects to publishing books. Who likes to write? Okay, the same actors like to write. That's good, and you like to write. Has anybody ever heard of Lulu.com? Lulu.com is a really good site for self-publishing, and you can do as many as just 1 or 2 copies and get your books out there. And I've actually published a couple books over the years. This one is Your Voice, God's Instrument, and it's a 30-day vocal course on how to sing. And then I did a kids book a few years ago. I won't talk much about this, but had somebody draw the pictures for it and produce that. But you can use Lulu.com to do this kind of stuff, and you can get a hardback, soft cover.
Does it cost money?
It's not a lot. It's not a whole lot. I'm not sure nowadays how much it costs, but I went on there the other day and I looked, and they do promotions all the time. You don't have to be any certain age to do it. That's why I gave you these sites, because they're all at your age level.
Do any of these require a certain
No.
age?
Mm-mm. You might have to get your parents' permission to buy some of these things, but it's a really good source, Lulu.com. And then who likes to edit videos? Who likes to do that kind of stuff? What kind of programs do you use back there?
Adobe.
Adobe? Who else? iMovies? What do you use? Power Projector? Windows Movie Maker? That's totally fine, and it's free too. A lot of the movie programs you can get are free, or a free trial. The Avid one that I use is HD. It was only about $130. And nowadays you can edit in 3D, which is really cool, and it's really easy to do. And this is just a picture of actually one of the interviews that I filmed for the event this year. And that's Derek Arneson up there, smiling happily. But this is Avid. Avid's really good. I highly recommend that for PC computers. Max, Final Cut Pro is really good video editing software, and After Effects is good too. You can add all these special gunshot effects and things like that. So anyway, you can get video software for really affordable prices. I just put a couple on there for you to look at. If you really want to get into animation, Anime Studio software is the best way to go. There's tutorials everywhere online about how to make this work. And it's basically, you can either start something from scratch, or you can go in and use some anime characters that are already there. You don't have to use your own stuff. You can use other people's, but it's really cool. And they have a new thing on it called lip syncing, which you just import the audio and you link it to a mouth, and it moves the mouth in the shape for you, so you don't have to do it. So it links it, makes it right. I've used it for video announcements several times in the school, and so it's a really easy, really user-friendly software. You can make people walk, and you just have to kind of learn how to do it. So it's a really cool thing to look at. There's other animation softwares out there that I've used, but this is the easiest one for just getting the job done quick. So, who's that? Dexter? I figured that. I put him up there. So let's say you wanted to talking about music now, shifting. I know this is covering a whole lot of stuff, but I want to get you guys this information. Okay? Let's talk about getting the rights to put your song on a video. Do you guys know how to do that? BMI is actually owned by a place, I think, in Portland, and it's online. EMI. That's right. It's EMI, not BMI. BMI is a different thing. We'll talk about that in a minute. So if they don't own the rights to the song, you can ask the band themselves to give you permission. And even if you don't pay for something, you have to get permission to use whatever is somebody else's material. So some of you have heard that with music too. You know, like, well, if we're not charging for it, then maybe it's okay to use it. But in court, it won't stand, and you'll have to pay copyrights, and you'll get in trouble. We'll talk about that in a minute too, about music. But so let's say you want to get the rights to a song. You ask permission for it either through EMI, which it's very minimal cost. It's not very much to get permission, and it's worth it to do it that way than to get in trouble later for it, because people really do get in trouble for that stuff. So we actually had to email Cutlass, though, to get permission to use one of their songs on our videos for one of the schools, videos on a website that we did. We're going to come back to videos in a minute, but let's talk quickly about sheet music. You guys like writing sheet music or like writing music? Okay. Have you heard of Finale Notepad before? It's a free program, so you used it? Okay. So it's like a free program you can download. Finale also makes upgraded versions for about $500, but you can get student discounts or teacher discount on those, so don't totally rule that out. But there are a lot of good software things out there for sheet music. Sibelius is another one. I didn't write that down, but I've used that before. It's a really good scoring material. And then Tux Guitars for bands. You can lay out the entire song of your band on Tux Guitar, and it'll sound really good. It'll give you a good idea about how it's going to sound when you play it. The electric guitars sound pretty live. The drums sound pretty good. And you can just program the whole thing in there, and it's really easy to learn. There's tutorials everywhere about it. So that's a good idea for anybody you know that wants to get into even just writing their music down for your band. There's tab, there's sheet music on there you can write. It's just a lot of good materials on there. And for recording, I use Pro Tools. Has anybody ever heard of that? Okay. Pro Tools is a really easy, user-friendly program. It looks hard, but it's not. Usually a Pro Tools program comes with a DVD that shows exactly what to click, where to drag things to. It's really easy to figure out. Cakewalk is another recording program you can use for recording at home, but if you can't afford a professional studio, I'd suggest getting one of those. You can get, with Pro Tools, you can get what's called an Inbox 2. And you can plug in 2 inputs at a time, so you could record your guitar and you're singing at the same time. And you can get other inputs too. You can I think you can do like 16 at a time through the USB now. It's really kind of incredible. And it just tracks them and records them for you. So next thing I want to talk about real quick, and we got to go fast too because we got to get a lot done, is CD Baby. This is the people that puts your music on iTunes and about 30 other stores for you. You don't have to deal with anything. You sign up through CD Baby, and they're actually an online store too, so they can set up a bunch of different things for you. This is the front page of CD Baby. Go ahead and go to the next one. Of course, your login, all that. It's really simple to do. Keep going. And then this is what they do. They make you a page. This is my Christmas piano album. Who plays piano? I'm going to give you my Christmas piano album. And so they put it on iTunes and about 30 other online stores. There you go. And the cool thing about it is that it gets 30-second clips of each song on there for you. You don't have to do a lot. They can also create a biography for you on there. Let's go to the next one. Okay, you can sell your music anywhere. It's really a digital world. You can literally reach people. You can put a link to this on Facebook. You can put it anywhere you want. Go ahead. And there's a biography that is on there for me. Keep going. And this is an album I did a few years ago. It's just a worship album. You can go on and look at that. Go to the next one. And there are thousands and thousands of bands that are on this site. Actually, iTunes recommends that you use CD Baby to get your music on iTunes. They're one of the #1 sites that they recommend to do it for you. And then this is just a copy. I just copied the sheet of iTunes that shows that they get actually on there for you. And it only takes about 2 weeks to get it up there if you have a full band album. If you have just a single song, it's only like 48 hours. It's only about $12.98 for single songs to put on there. It's about $45, I think, to get a full album put on all these 30 different sites. And then you make money from it. They send a check to your house every 10 days. So to actually produce physical copies of DVDs and things like that, CDs, DVDs, I put a site down there called WeMakeTapes.com. They're the cheapest one I found. They're in Tennessee. And it's cool because you get to say my music was produced in Nashville. So it's kind of a cool thing to say, too. I produced my Christmas album there. And I have really good things to say about them. Disc Makers is also another one here. And when I went to the site the other day, they were actually giving away a free social media guide for musicians, and I made about 12 copies of those, so if you want one, you can come see me afterwards. It might still be free on the site, I don't know, but I made copies just in case anybody wanted one. So I use those sites to produce my music. So let's quickly talk about the 3 types of music that you find. And these are all things that you guys should know about, even if you don't do music. You will encounter music that's public domain, which is what? Does anybody know what public domain means? Yes.
Like stuff that everybody sings, like
Hymns, Christmas songs, folk songs, things like that everybody usually knows, like Amazing Grace and things like that. But check on it before you ever record anything. And this goes for video, media, anything you use with songs. So public domain is one. The next one is songs that you've written. You own the rights to those, right? But what you should do is get them registered at the Library of Congress. Most people don't know this, but people can steal your songs. It's not a thing that you'd want, but people can hear your song somewhere and steal it. And so you need to get it registered through Library of Congress. And what's cool about that is you send them a CD of your music, and they keep a copy of it in the Smithsonian. And it's the national records of your music, or your audio, if you do book reading, if you do anything like that. Get it on there. Send it in to them. So those 3 kinds of songs are the 3 you'll encounter with all kinds of media. Now, getting rights to other people's music. Let's talk quickly about this. HarryFox.com is where you go. It's a really easy site to use. You can sign in and just check on, say like you wanted to do Michael W. Smith. What's the song Michael W. Smith does?
All in the surf.
What's that?
All in the surf.
Call him to surf?
All
Is that-
in the surf.
All in the surf.
That's right.
So you could look up Michael W. You can look up anybody's song, and if it's not registered through there, it could be registered through BMI. That's another one. Or you might have to go through the musician himself. Like I went through Paul Simon to get the rights to Bridge Over Troubled Water. I had to ask him to get permission to do it on my album. And then some people just like to go through their own ways of doing that. But HarryFox.com is the best way to get the rights, and it's only 9.7 cents per song per album. So I did 500 albums, and it was only like $49 per song to get permission to do it, which is worth it to me. So there's lots of things you can do there. Promoting your band and your group is Vistaprint.com. I didn't put a slide up there for it, but they make business cards, pins, magnets, T-shirts for just a really small amount, super small amount. And, you could get free business cards printed and only pay just a couple $1 shipping. That's really what they do. And you could promote your band. You can have posters made there. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with that. So, moving on real quick, radio shows. Who's interested in speaking and talking and preaching? Okay? Some of you, yeah. Getting your own radio show is a good way to do it. And blogtalkradio.com is the way to do it. This was a radio show I did a couple years ago. It aired for about 2 years. And you can go on, and they have an online soundboard. And you can have up to 5 callers. You can have up to 2 hours of time that you're producing this stuff. And what you do is you call in. It's all over the phone. So it's really easy to do. You don't need any equipment. It's free. If you want to pay like $35 a month, they unlock more things for you. You could get like 10 callers instead of 5 callers. You can get unlimited times during the day when you can do your radio show. So that's kind of an option there. And with speaking about some more videos, I want to bring up one of my friends. His name is Humberto, and he has a YouTube channel, and he wants to share a little bit about with you guys today. So welcome, Humberto Rodriguez. Now, Humberto has drummed for how many years now?
Like 12, 13 years maybe.
He's been drumming with me for a while too, and he does worship sets, and he's been lately recording a lot of Christian music, and so just explain to us why you do it.
You know, I think one of the most important things is why you're doing it, because let's just say there's just a lot of negativity. You know, if you're not doing it with the right intentions, like I do it because I feel like strongly in my heart that's what God has called me to do, to play music, to play the drums. It's easy for me to do it. I don't have to try, and I know people are affected through my playing, so I don't need someone to confirm that to me. Mm-hmm. And I just believe if whatever it is you're called to do, have the right intentions. Know that God accepts you for that gift, and that's why He created you for that area. And you know, because I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that can distract you from doing it. Maybe I'm too young. Maybe my family doesn't have enough for this, or whatever the excuse may be. But when you come down to it, if you're doing it for the right reasons, because you feel and you believe that's what you're called for. No matter what it is, even from YouTube. I mean, you've been working with me, helping me make that a possibility, and it works. It doesn't take much, but it does take a step of believing if that's what it is. You know, I'm not looking for someone to accept me to see if this is going to be the right thing, but I just do it because I know that's the right thing, and so I think that's the best thing, you know, growing in that.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
All right, thank you, Humberto. And we have another special guest here that you guys are going to really like. He's going to talk to you a little bit about music first because he's a worship guy too, but he's one of the main comic book artists for Transformers. And he's going to share with you a little bit about how you can get connected, and if you do artwork, how you can get your kind of foot in the door with some advice from things like that. So would you welcome Josh Burcham? And we have a ton of slides to show you, too. We want to show you from the beginning of when he started drawing to where he is now. And we only have about 10 more minutes left.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the site that you told me about for music sharing. That he actually just found this week?
Yeah, just this last week. It was just kind of on Facebook or whatever. It's just site. It's called soundtrap.com. But it's I just barely kind of looked into it and messed around with it, but it seems like a really cool thing. It's because it's all online for recording. You can record vocal stuff. You can record kind of anything that you can plug into your computer, keyboards, drums, electronic drums and stuff like that, or mic drums, whatever. I'm a drummer myself, but I also play a little bit of keyboard and stuff like that. But it seems like a really cool site, and it's not just because you can record online, but you have the ability to collaborate with different people. So if you want to make a song, you're writing a song of your own or whatever, and all you have is just a little riff on a guitar or just this really cool progression like on a keyboard or something, you can record that, plug your keyboard straight into the computer, and it's got a program, it's got different sounds and effects on it. Which is cheap and free, right? I mean, all you have to do is plug in whatever you already have into the computer, into the mic port. But you just record that track or whatever, and you can record other ones on top of it if you do other stuff. Or if it's just that bit, you can record that, put it up on the site, and once it's up and it's out there, other people are able to collaborate and like, oh, I can play the bass on this track, so let me just record something for you, and boom, you got bass on there, and you can do that and collaborate with people all over the world. You know, anybody who's got the internet and can get onto this website, and so you can have a whole band. You know, your singer lives in North America, your drummer lives in Australia, whatever. The distance doesn't really matter anymore, and so I just thought it was cool. It might be something I might check out sometime in the future for any worship music and stuff like that. But but my that was the music part. But my job, you can try and get whatever slides going. I work as a comic book artist, and mostly as a color artist. Right now, I work on Transformers books. I work on there was an old cartoon series called Samurai Jack. I don't know if any guys remember that.
I know that.
We're doing comic book series for that. It takes place after the show ended. And you guys ever watch 24 with Kiefer Sutherland? You know, Jack Bauer. New season is starting up this month, I think, or next month, something like that. But we're doing a prequel comic book for that.
So describe to us what we're seeing back here.
Yeah, this right here. This is actually really early artwork that I did. Give you kind of a brief. I started out doing like just drawing and sketching, and kind of all my life I've just kind of done art. I never really did too much of it in school, like an art class in middle school and graphic design class or whatever in high school, just as an elective. And I worked with Photoshop a lot. That's what I did, all the color stuff on here. And so basically through high school, I just kind of taught myself how to do this, and we had some stuff in the class that kind of talked about it. And so I already kind of did some of this stuff for fun, and I wasn't ever like big into comic books growing up or anything like that. But through that class, I found out that what I was doing was what people do in comic books, mainstream comic books. People who work on Batman, Superman, you know, all the big stuff. Yeah, Batman, right on. All the stuff that I was doing was people get paid to do that kind of stuff. And so that picture that you saw earlier, that was just a test page I did for the company who was doing Transformer comic books at the time. And you just do up samples, build up a portfolio, and submit that to the company online or in person or whatever. And hopefully you would get a job out of it. And I was working at it for about 2 years before I actually got my first published job working on Transformers comic books. And I've been doing that for about 10 years now.
And so he's kind of flashing some pictures, but if you want to describe a few of them to us too, you can.
Yeah, this was this page actually right here. If you know Transformers, there's a character named Starscream. He's a bad guy, but this was the very first comic book that I got published on, that I actually got to work on, and so this is a page from that.
Go ahead on. And thanks, Alan, for helping with the median back. He plays bass for me. He's a worship leader, too, and plays bass. Yes, question.
So you said that you've done a lot of sketching.
Mm-hmm.
Have you done like any sketching aside from like Transformers and Samurai Jack and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, right now I'm working on a whole lot of projects. Like I'm working on the Transformers, Samurai Jack, and on 24 stuff like that. But I've got kind of my own ideas for comic book stories and characters and stuff that I'm kind of working on in the background. And it's really easy to self-publish. You can self-publish online. You can. One thing I didn't mention was when I was getting started doing artwork, I put a lot of it online, and there was different websites that you do that. A lot of message boards, art-specific message boards, a lot of comic book-specific message boards that I went to. I don't even know if some of them are around, but one site that I still use now, it's DeviantArt. I have a page on there, and that one is actually probably about 10 years old. I've got stuff from way back in like 2000 or whatever, when I first started doing that kind of stuff. And I still update it every now and then with newer stuff.
Talk a little bit about your movie stuff that you've contributed to the Transformer movies.
Yeah, one thing that's really cool about working in comic books is that you have the ability to go into other things, because comic books are basically storyboards. And storyboards, you use those in animation, you use those in films. And so doing what I do in comic books, like I said, those ties are already there with the different media outlets, kind of a thing. And so when the first Transformers movie came out in 2007, before the movie came out, the company I worked for was approached to do a prequel story, what happened before the movie. And so I got to work on a prequel comic book that led into the movie. And that comic book, it was given out at certain theaters. You know, when people saw the movie, they would give you a comic book with your ticket and stuff like that. And when the DVD came out at Target, we had an exclusive comic book that you buy the DVD and you get the comic book. And we had another one that, excuse me, a company kind of animated. You know, we'd have an animated comic, and I think that was Walmart that did that. And I also did some cover art for a DVD release of the Transformers movie, which was pretty cool. So you have the ability to get into other stuff, and I know a lot of people who get into concept art for movies and for video games, character design, and all that kind of stuff. So,
And a lot of it's about networking and social networking too with people to get connected to do the next project. Because after you're done with one project, you got to find another one, right?
yeah, everything I do is digitally. Like, I live here in Oregon. The company that I work for on the comic books, they're based in San Diego. The company who owns Transformers, they're in Rhode Island, and we have artists who live in Brazil, who live in Japan, who live in Italy, all over the world who work on this stuff, and it's all digitally. It's all online. It's all via email.
And DeviantArt, they're message boards and things you can go get help from with people and advice from, if they like your drawings, they can comment on.
Yeah. Sites like DeviantArt and the message boards and stuff were invaluable for me growing up as an artist. But number one, people aren't afraid to tell you what they think online. They kind of have that anonymity, where they can just say whatever they want. And some of them are pretty harsh, but it's kind of good. It helps you develop that thick skin. And I kind of learned the hard way myself. People will say, "Oh, that sucks," and you're like, "Well, what the heck do you know?" kind of a thing. But you take the good with the bad, but it stuff really helped, other people. And there's a lot of other artists, a lot of professional artists on there who are willing to help other people out.
Stop on this one real quick. What is that one? Describe that one to us.
This was another movie kind of a thing. Before the movie came out, the very first Transformers movie, the company Hasbro was doing a lot of internal artwork and trying to find the right look for the robots. And so this was a really early picture. Another artist drew of Optimus Prime. I did all the color work on it, all the shading and highlights and all that kind of stuff. But this was a really early concept that was pretty close to the final design that you saw in the movie. But this was all, like, I could not show this to anybody, or I could not tell anybody that I was working on this for years. And it wasn't until after the movie came out that I could get permission to say, "Oh yeah, we did this." And I've done that kind of a thing for a lot of stuff. I've worked on Star Wars stuff for the company Hasbro. We were pitching an idea to do like a mobile phone game, and so I got to do some artwork that I didn't bring any of it. I don't even know if I can show any of it, but it's kind of cool to say I got to work on Star Wars. But
So as a Christian, and we'll kind of wrap it up here in a minute because I know they have to get to their next thing, but as a Christian and as somebody who loves God and is a part of the church, and how has God blessed you through the arts and art?
Oh, a lot. I probably wouldn't have this job if it wasn't for God. I know that a lot of people, a lot of adults or whatever, like they've grown up with comic books or whatever, and they love the stuff, and they work their whole life, being as an artist. They go through art schools and all this kind of stuff. And not that any of that stuff's bad.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
We did a Doctor Who comic book, and I got to work on the first cover for that one.
That's amazing.
But yeah.
I'm like super obsessed.
Oh no problem.
Send you your
So anyway, we have contact information here. If you have any questions for me or for Humberto back there on the drums or for Josh here, you can email us. You can talk to us. We'll answer any questions you have. And Josh, did you bring your art in?
I don't have it with me.
He has to go out to the car and get it, right? Or
I
is
think
it
it's
at the
actually
hotel?
back at the room still.
Okay. So how about tomorrow morning? When do you guys have a break tomorrow morning? How about between 8 and 8:30? He'll sell posters and sign them out in the lobby.
Sure.
He brought them. He had them printed and everything. How big are they?
I've got some that are like 11 by 17, like posters, like Star Wars, Batman, a couple other things, and I've got some 8 by 10s.
And he'll sign them all for you. How much are they?
I don't know. I've been doing like $5 for the smaller ones, 10 for the bigger posters.
So spread the word and get the word out. We'll have them in the hallway out front by the registration table. And if you're interested in any of my stuff too, I have a worship album that just came out recently. It's called Peace Like a River. David Klinkenberg plays on it with me. I don't know if you know who he is. He's the violin player that's the #1 instrumentalist. And there's lots of hymns on here too that I like. The prayers on there, Bridge Over Troubled Water. Amazing Grace, Nothing But the Blood. You Raise Me Up is on there. It's a duet I did. Who likes those songs? I'm going to give this away. You do? Okay. Can you give that to her?
Sure can.
So anyway, be blessed, and I hope you guys have a great time at Fine Arts, and just go with your gifts and use these sites to help you, because social media is the way to go nowadays. We'll see you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the 2014 Amplify podcast. For more information on the Oregon Ministry Network and our events, please visit our website at oregonag.org.